things almost make sense, and most everything is interesting and mildly unique. It's a place that feels somewhat familiar and has the suspicious comfort of a loving semi-omnipresence. You are on the outskirts of Loutopia. Sit back and relax, or tense up and march around. Please welcome your host of Loutopia, Lou Angelwolf.
Oh, yeah. Hey, it's been a whole nother week, and we're back. Thank you for listening to the Loutopia podcast. Whether you're on the IRN Broadcast Network or on YouTube itself, we're just glad you're here. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Loutopia podcast. It's a show about health, humor, well-being, and man, we have a variety of topics tonight.
Like Doomsday.
On the air with me, or to my immediate right, my co-host, Michael Merberg.
Good to be here. April in Florida, no better time to be here.
Oh, my gosh, it's so magic. Yesterday was like a storybook.
Yep.
It was like 73, breezy, no humidity.
Unicorns romping outside.
There was we were watching unicorns nuzzle. And over there on mic 3, it's the producer, Chris Gorges.
What up?
You doing okay, buddy?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, doing all right.
You had a rough afternoon, didn't you?
Honk, honk.
Mid-morning.
It was mid-morning?
Mid-morning.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
You want to share what our audience will happen?
Sure. I got into I guess it was an altercation. I don't know. It wasn't real. I mean, it wasn't an altercation so much as it was just. All right, so I'm at the Walmart parking lot. All right, let me just start.
A lot of stories start out like that.
In Florida, they do.
Oh, I need a new tank top.
Here's where it gets even worse. I stopped to get some ammo.
Okay.
This is so Florida, you know that, don't you?
I got a new rifle. I want to go to the range, so they got cheap ammo there. So I stopped to get some rounds for my rifle. And as I'm leaving, I get in my car, and I'm still in the parking lot, and I decide, because I hate driving in front of stores to get out. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Because people are walking in and out. It's
congested.
It's a minefield. Right?
Sure.
So I literally made a point to drive all the way to the back of the parking lot.
Right.
Go along the back line of the parking lot.
Sure.
And then I made a left, and I went down the very last car aisle.
Right.
Because it was parallel to the highway that I needed to get on.
Mm-hmm.
I could
Gotcha.
just go down to the end and make a right, and I'm right on the highway.
Capiche.
Right. So as I'm coming down the aisle there, I noticed there's a guy walking out of Walmart, and he's walking in the middle of the roadway there,
All right.
where cars go.
Sure.
It's not really a road, but it's for
Okay.
cars.
It's a parking lot.
And he's not crossing it. He's just literally walking right, level with the middle of my hood.
Mm-hmm.
And I get up to him, and he's looking right at me, and he's just not moving. So I'm like, all right, well, whatever. So I kind of go around him. And that incensed him. He was really pissed about the fact that I went around. I don't know what happened, but he started yelling at me as I drove by. And then for some reason, I stopped and I rolled down my window a little bit. And I was like, "What's going on?" I don't know. I didn't know if he was hurt or what. I knew what he was doing. He's pissed, but I don't know what. I didn't know what about.
Now, did you do like an exaggerated get out of the way turn, or did you just turn the wheel?
No, I just turned the wheel. I wasn't going that fast.
Were you making eye contact with him?
I was looking right at him.
Okay.
Yeah.
You do know this is where the crazy people hang out at Walmart.
I was at the Walmart. I'm not crazy.
No, not you, but
Oh.
this other guy.
I don't know if he was hanging, but anyway.
Well, they walk around the perimeter and mumble to themselves.
Well, and it's around the 17th, and they're all out of their meds now.
He was upset, and so I said, "What?"
Spot on.
Yeah. So I said, "What's up? What's the problem?" And he goes, he said, "Wow, I don't even know." He was like mumbling, and he was kind of mumbling, and then he cursed, and he, "The fuck's your problem?" He goes, "What's your fucking problem?" Like that. And I was like, "Look, you were walking in the middle of the roadway, so I went around you. You were speeding." I said, well, "I don't think I was speeding, buddy." And that doesn't change the fact that we were walking right in the middle of the roadway. And anyway, it's not like I lurched the car. I went around, right?
Okay.
So then he went around, and he took his phone out and went and was going to record my tag. And I'm like, "What the hell?" So I rolled on my other one. I'm like, "What are you doing?" And he comes back over and he puts the phone literally like 6 inches in front of my face. And he's, "I'm recording you." So that was where I had enough, dude.
Yeah.
And then I went.
Don't say anything more.
Okay, thank you.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right.
So I had enough, and we exchanged words. And then some biker dude walks by, and he's like, "You need to shut your mouth," to me. And I'm like, You didn't even see what was happening. Why are you getting involved? Again, it's Walmart, I guess. That's why you got involved. So
It's the perimeter. It's the Walmart perimeter. They can't keep the barbarians
Now
out.
now, Chris, you was in their territory.
You
knew that in your heart, didn't you?
I go to Walmart for staples. Not staples like office supplies, but staples. Things that they're cheap.
I overstand.
Yeah.
I go to Staples for ammo.
Guys arguing with a guy that's got rifle ammunition on his seat next to him. It was just and here's the thing, Lou. We're talking about this today. We're talking about the second part of the Doomsday prepping. I think that people are they're at their end.
Yeah.
With respects to like just dealing with other people, and the fact that they're at their end is pushing me to my end.
Well, you know what it is, dude? Mm-hmm. And whether we want to acknowledge this or not, it's the freaking waves of energy flowing through the air from all these freaking electronics around us constantly.
Maybe.
You're always in a room with some freaking crazy-ass artificial vibration.
As we broadcast on the internet in front of a flat screen.
Absolutely.
with the threat of nuclear war hovering
with
over
the threat
our
of
heads.
nuclear.
Just another day in paradise.
So that kind of scenario, nobody's going to be peeking, So, and I get it, Chris, and I'm
not a bad person. I don't want to be violent with anybody. It's not. I don't seek that out. But at the same time, I'm the type of person that if you confront me, I'm going to say something. I'm not going to sit there and be like, I don't want to say anything, because people online were like, well, I would just. No, I'm tired of accommodating people like this and not being able to say, hey, what is your problem?
He's mentally ill.
Well, maybe. Maybe he's just a dick. Maybe it's that.
Yeah, well, that's mental illness.
Well, is it? I mean, because there seems to be a lot of dicks out there and nobody's treating them. So
I have a dog turd in my sock. But look,
and I'm swinging it at you.
He was just angered over the stupidest thing. It's not like I came close to hitting him, or I can understand if I hit him with my rearview mirror and he freaked out.
I totally get it. But look, man, you don't know where that dude came from.
I know.
He might have slept in a ditch last night.
He didn't look like it.
He may have a rash.
And the other thing was that he called me he used a slur. When he got angry and I wouldn't get out of the car, I wouldn't acknowledge the fact that he was angry. Then he goes, F you, and he called me a slur. And
he didn't call you the N-word, did he?
No.
That'd be dumb.
That was a gay slur. I don't even like the word. I used to use the word. I used a part of the word on stage, and I stopped using it because it's just an unnecessary word.
Oh, the bundle of sticks word?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I just was like, really, dude? Yeah, that really said a lot about who he was. Anybody that would use that as an insult.
Yeah, I get it.
When you're pissed, you call, say you're an asshole, you're a jerk, or whatever. But that word.
Well, yeah,
stupid.
Dude, well, when you got to consider the source, okay? And what I'm telling you, and I'm not saying you were wrong.
He could have been an attorney for all I know.
Yeah.
No, I don't mean that against you, Mike. But he could have been a professional person, is what I meant.
Hey, we've all seen Breaking Bad.
Not some way.
I used to be a teacher.
Not some homeless guy in a ditch, but the guy's got a good job. He's probably got a family. He probably is nice most of the time. He just decided that the guy in the Grand Marquis was going to get it this morning.
Well, dude, I mean, there's as we talk about every week on the show here, the Loutopia podcast about health, humor, and well-being, you can sort a lot of things out. I mean, we always talk about finding our center. And the second half of the show, we have Beth Snyder, who's our co-host and hypnotherapist down there. And she's just awesome, and she helps you sort out all your problems. And that's kind of what the show is all about. We let everybody air out their stuff.
Yeah, finding your donut hole.
Finding your donut hole. And here's the thing. While you can exist in your peaceful days of your life, that's what we're trying to point you to. Each of us has a lifetime full of experience that we're willing to share. It comes from a kind heart. It comes from a caring heart. But going through all that and finding what you think is your little piece of serendipity or whatever, there's still a lot of random bullshit that happens in people's lives.
And as long as you know that you don't want to deal with drama and you'd rather be a comedian,
yes,
you're so much better off.
But I'm a dramatic comedian, so that doesn't help me at all.
You're also a liberal with a fucking semi-automatic rifle. Okay,
I'm an enigma.
You're a walking contradiction of enigmas.
Fair enough. I'll take that.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I'll shoot anybody that comes near my gay and lesbian rally this weekend. Them girls got a right to say what they need to say.
I looked up on Facebook. Somebody was talking about how you can check like your profile on Facebook and how Facebook categorize. You have categories that they, like you're married or you're liberal. I'm listed as liberal, I guess. I don't think I'm that liberal, but I guess I am. But then one that popped in was multicultural affinity. I was like, oh
yeah.
Yeah.
That was nice to have in there.
Yeah.
How do you find that thing?
Ah,
I don't know where it is.
I'll show you after the
I'd
show.
love to see how I come out electronically.
Genetics.com.
Well, no, you can go around Facebook and you go to the settings, and then you go. I'll show you. There's a couple of clicks, and you get to basically your ad settings. So they use that information to send you ads, and
okay.
yeah, it's interesting. I saw it on CNN. I was like, "Oh, I want to try that."
Speaking about lesbians.
We barely said lesbian.
Well, no, actually, I was reading one of my
There was a lesbian in the air.
one of my lessons the other night was like the gospel according to the Gospel of Thomas. The Nag Hammadi scrolls. So one of the last lines and the most controversial lines in the Gospel of Thomas is Jesus is talking to women and he says, "You must be more like a man."
Really?
Yeah, I know. So if there wasn't a biblical opening of the door for the lesbian community, especially the the more masculine ones,
Sure.
it's a great door to say, hey, look, you accepted me before you ruined this book. Why should things be any different now?
Right. And I'm just doing what the Bible tells me.
Exactly.
I'm being more like a man.
Yeah, it's just noticing that hey, you got to get out of whatever it is. And what they meant didn't necessarily mean, physically man, but
Right.
But get out of that insanity that you're living and kind of transcend, just like so many men do at a certain age.
Well, a certain amount of masculine attitude on a woman is very sexy, very, very beautiful.
Yeah, I always get along with aggressive women.
Yeah. like
Wow, where did that sound come from, Lou? That came from some deep
Well,
life experience right there.
No.
Well, I don't
No, because I was about to bring up Pam because Pam has a little bit of a, she's an attorney. She's been around men her whole life, and she's got a little bit of that toughness about her.
Take charge attitude.
Yeah,
She nudges.
she can handle it.
She's
okay?
nice. She's not like the parking lot guy aggressive. She nudges.
Right. Well, yeah, but she doesn't even nudge, and that's what I'm saying. I was about to say Pam is like that, and then you went, "I love aggressive women," and she's the furthest thing from an aggressive woman, and yeah, so she's and I get that. Well, anyway, folks, last week we were talking about doomsday preppers and people that have made up their mind that the end of the world is near, and damn it, to the best of their abilities, they're going to survive the big rock and firestorm that's coming. And I understand that. I understand wanting to get away. I understand wanting to hold the things that you hold dear nearest to you. I understand not wanting to participate in the mainstream diet, which has us all bloated and unhealthy. I understand all that wonderful stuff. And we got to a couple topics of it last week, but Chris had some other things that he had brought up, and we never actually got to them. Now, apparently the prepping is even bigger than I thought. I mean,
it's an industry unto itself.
Yeah, because
it really is.
Yeah, I mean, because there's prepper supply companies that are making millions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And actually, I do have a couple of boxes of prep food.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah. But you got to eat, and but moreover than that, you need the water.
Yeah, I was thinking in terms of like, biomechanics, being able to get your own water, being able to build your shelter, being able to build traps, things of that nature. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, as far as as opposed to the pre-packaged meals and stuff like that, I suppose that stuff's good too. But how much can you get?
Yeah, I mean? I know. Yeah, how much can you actually keep?
I know.
I mean, how long is it really going to last?
Do you have any of that stuff, Mike? Any prepper stuff?
Yeah, dried food's really easy to accumulate. You got beans, dried beans. They're easy. They'll keep for years.
Yeah. What do you keep them in?
Lentils. What I do is they're good in their bags, but I save my plastic, large plastic containers and pickle jars and stuff like that. So I keep stuff like that. So the other thing is oatmeal, is good. Any dehydrated foods, that you buy over the counter, it's cheap, it's simple. It'll keep you for days and years if you want. Keep a back supply of 10 or 15 cans of tuna fish, and that's got plenty of protein in it. You can thin it out. And as for water, if you live in a house like this, you can take a downspout and put a rain barrel out there, catch your water, and you always have a week's supply of water that way. A little side jug of chlorine to keep it and a Bunsen, not a Bunsen burner. Once again, Breaking Bad coming out. Something to.
He's got to cook up some ice.
Yeah, what else you got out there on the ranch, Mike?
Light a fire. Really sorry, you moved the meth lab last week. You're too late.
Everybody.
Yeah, there's plenty of lists online. The big thing that seems to be the top of the list are the to filter and gather water. I told Blue last week about Life straws. And those are like little straws with a serious filter in it. You can basically drink any sort of standing groundwater. Doesn't matter what shape it's in.
Really?
And it'll filter it. Yeah. So that's you can
that's trust.
Well, I mean, we got the technology, baby. And then in all these survival lists too, though, there's a prepping list. There's always the personal and home defense. Always some sort of 22 rifle, some sort of that.
Well, you would need some kind of rifle.
Yep. At least at the minimum to hunt with. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and see, here's the thing: is all these doomsday scenarios, I guess they really could happen. Lord knows I don't want it to happen, but if you look back, history, you don't have to go that far back in history. Maybe a couple of weeks, or last night, you can find people. Their lives absolutely torn apart by war. And, we kind of live in a gilded cage here in America because we got...
Pinellas County, the heart of the military-industrial complex's retirees.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, and McDill's 30 miles away.
Yeah, and we have Paradigm and the manufacturer of the nuclear warhead triggers here as well. Honeywell doesn't get any more fucking.
Always comfortable.
Oh yeah,
always comfortable.
Yeah.
It's this place and then Columbine. That's they make the missiles. That's
when they always show the Russians sending missiles over, they always put Pinellas County, Florida is the intended epicenter of everywhere except New York and Washington D.C.
I'm still not moving.
Yeah. You know what, though?
I don't think it's going to be that. I said last week, I think it's going to be a natural disaster. I think that's what will break down the grid. It's some sort of natural bad thing because the weather's changing. And look at Puerto Rico. I'm sure those people didn't think it was going to be like that.
I think it'll be a natural disaster caused by man because we got earthquake machines now. We got hurricane makers now.
Yeah, we got cloud manufacturers that can manufacture clouds the size of Spain.
Yeah, sure. I've had the Loutopia show going with you guys. I'll be honest with you, I'm still very much virginal on YouTube. I really there's a couple people that I watch and subscribe to. I get a kick out of Richie from Boston.
Yeah.
He's funny and I believe the guy's absolutely truthful. I can't see any agenda that this cat is carrying with him. He's either the best actor and the best character that he's written for himself, or he's genuine.
You find out he's CIA.
No, but
exactly.
That's the whole point of YouTube, dude.
Yeah,
there are so many people like that aren't like that. Like I posted one ghetto chick, and it turns out immediately people are like, "Oh, she's a comedian." I'm like, "God dang it!"
Yeah, well, I don't think this is the case with Richie from Boston. Yeah. And there's another one called Richardson 1968. Which is a good channel, and David Icke has scads and scads of stuff on there. Terrence McKenna, Ken O'Keefe. These are, to me, I like their version of the news better. And now I know that we're naturally drawn to little spikes of negativity. We love to find the pain center right away. But I'll also tell you, you can't trust what's coming out of the big five media centers because the big five media centers are all basically owned by the Zionist movement, and they don't. Your information is smoothed out and round it off for your little ears, and just the constant spin that's on the stuff. It never ends. And, they'll tell you the whole story and miss the point, and no matter how long it takes them. So what I'm saying is, and I've gotten in a couple little spats online the last couple of weeks, and I seek alternative information. I do it for a living because I've had them lie to me too many times to go, okay, I can't trust your input, so I'm going to challenge it. And sometimes when you stand on the other side of the room, you go, wow, those guys are full of shit. And I just I don't think that's an unhealthy thing for people. I really think you should take a full spectrum point of view.
No, you should challenge everything. I mean, question everything, for Christ's sakes. I mean, let's face it, that's our job here, not to accept everything at face value until we know and understand what the truth is.
Yeah, it's really funny. You'll post one little thing on Facebook, and people think that that's your God and credence, that you've got the same tattoo on your back.
Well, you mentioned the big media being owned. There was an article that came out today in the Wall Street Journal, and it's kind of amazing. I goes like, what the Wall Street Journal changed? All of a sudden, they're starting to support Trump because they realize that China and Russia have just combined forces against us. And we might want to be friends with the Russians at this point.
Yes,
absolutely. I was like, wow, wait a minute. 6 weeks ago, you guys were like crucifying the guy. And what happened? That's the question. What happened?
Obviously, a gear slipped somewhere.
Ooh, you just never know. It won't know till tomorrow.
Well, obviously it suits some sort of media action for them to change their tone or whatever.
Right.
I'm sure there's a corporate connection to it. It's got to be tied to money. And the longer it's tied to money, the more it's going to be tied to the military-industrial complex.
Yep.
So, and here's the thing with China, Russia, and the United States, okay? It's silly for those three giants of the world not to be chill, okay? It's like, I remember touring as a stand-up, and, every once in a while, headliners got to hang out with each other. And the coolest thing was three guys in the room that respected each other and understood what was going on. There was no leaping about for attention or whatever.
The best.
Yeah, it is. It's just being with cool people with cool personalities.
Your peers. You're with your peers at that point.
And the peers you really want to identify with.
Right.
So what I'm saying is, as a collective thought, and this is part of the Loutopia thing, in collective thought, why can't these three superpowers go, we're the absolute freaking superpowers on this earth, and why can't we just share it three ways?
Well, can I answer that?
Yeah.
Ego.
I get it. Ego, greed.
Was that right? Is that right, Mike?
Well, yeah, it is. Ego is ego creates fear, and fear is based on a lack of love and trust. So, I'd love to see everybody get together and say, okay, we have a world we have to feed, we have to clothe, and we have to shelter. We each have our own problems. Well, how are we going to do it for ourselves and everybody else at this point? Because the system isn't working out, and there are a lot of people. There are very few people here, with the wealth, and they're controlling it all. So,
I always thought that was what the UN was for.
Oh God, them and the World Bank, hand in hand with the pillaring of society.
Well, we've just this seems to be like an onslaught of information here. But the biggest news all of us have this week is Michael's CE5 meeting that he had over the weekend. And for those of you who are just hearing this for the first time, CE5 is Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. It's human-initiated contact into the extraterrestrial community. And Michael has a myriad of friends and contacts, abductees and first-person, CE1 people.
Contactees.
Contactees.
Experiencers.
And can you share what? And this was out at the ranch.
Yeah. Well, what has happened is about a year or a little over a year ago, I started my own CE5 group out of Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
And a few of those people came and became members of the group, or MUFON members as well, and they became core members of the group. And about a month or so ago, I talked to the state chapter head and addressed their group and said, "Hey, any of you guys want to show up? Show on up." And then we had some more MUFON people show up, and they're very.
And MUFON is what now?
Mutual UFO Network. They collect data on sightings. If you report it, to their number, and they send investigators out. So I had a bunch of their investigators out this week at the ranch.
Really?
Oh yeah. And then we did before the CE5 even started. There were ships, entities, and things that were photographed in the sky.
They're absolutely beautiful. You sent to me, I don't know, on my phone. They're heavenly and perfect.
Yeah, those are from the MUFON guys. I mean, I usually didn't not allow, but people just didn't come with cameras. And then all of a sudden, about 3-4 months ago, I was like, okay, if you want a camera, you want to photograph this, that's fine. And then all of a sudden, we started noticing on the camera film that there were things out there that weren't visible to the human eye, and we would have a myriad of orbs show up, a dozen orbs that were tiny things, and as well as the lightning bugs, and you can tell the difference between the two, and it's just been pretty miraculous, especially considering the number of first-time experiences we have out there that I teach how to do this. So it's
that's beautiful, man.
Pretty miraculous stuff.
And I so understand that. Well, for those of you who've been listening to the show, Michael and I, it was like one of the pillars of our friendship. I believe I got my download in utero. My mother had a experience while she was like 8 months pregnant, and I believe it was a transfer into me, because I got to tell you, I've never felt completely at home here, but I believe these things. I know that there's another world out there. To think that this is the only level of activity and vibration, you're daft. There's so many more levels out there, and they're coming to introduce themselves. And Michael, I know you have you're under the opinion that they're friendly and they're here to love us.
Yeah, those are the ones I've had contact with. I've had contact with probably 9 or 10 different sorts of orbs and entities at this point. And this weekend, there were actual craft out there. We had 3 show up. One of my members of the group said, "Hey, look, we got flash bulbs to the southeast." Looked over there, saw the flash bulbs, and then I grabbed my laser light, and then I hit the area where the flash bulbs are coming from, and they started flashing back at us. So
wow,
yeah, and as they were flashing back, you could see that they were stationary metallic craft, which is kind of rare because usually my experiences with energy beings, whether large, 80 feet across, or small, 10 or 12 feet across. But that was kind of it was a nuts and bolts kind of showing that was appropriate for the MUFON guys.
Yes, absolutely.
And then and then we have the smaller orbs, and we had a streamer.
The picture, the streamer is angelic. It's just so beautiful. It's like what was it, Fibonacci? It's like a
Fibonacci, yeah.
Fibonacci,
yeah. Fibonacci.
Hey, Fibonacci. It's that curl. It was that perfect curl. And the one that really blows me away is that boomerang shape thing.
Oh, yeah, from last weekend, yeah.
That, so, folks, when there's that happening, okay, when there's that level of power literally within your scope of existence, okay, why are we so tense about mediocre bullshit? Why do we worry about who said what about what? Why do we gossip? Why do we have these, strange conversations with strange people? If you can just stay focused on the spirit entity that you are, walking through this world, full of all the love that you have right now and looking to collect more, you're just going to live above that foam, like, today I heard a couple, just on a personal level, I heard some things about me from somebody else that I didn't know they had that attitude about me, and in the old days, I probably would have been confrontational and said, "What are you talking about, man?" But now I just went, well, that's the vibration that's happening for that person right now.
Well, you realize too that what somebody else thinks about you is absolutely irrelevant.
That saying went right through my head, and I said, "Great." I let it go. I mean, and if somebody, has a negative connotation about me and my existence, what do I have to do with that? Yeah. I can't really alter myself much. I mean, if I owe the person an apology, which I don't, but if I did, I'd certainly give it. So I'm not. What I'm saying is the level of energy and power and vibration that is available to all of us right now, and that's actually happening above our heads, whether you know it or not. Literally, it's time for you to reach inside, grab hold of that, that love light, that thing that is divine, that one part of you that is perfect. And let's start exercising that. Let's start making that the strongest part of our being. And the more people doing that, the world's got to get better.
Yeah, you make your love light and you give it up and you give it to each other, and then the divine creator gives what is known as light love back.
Light love back. I love it.
Right, that's a return.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not, the first half of the Loutopia podcast is drawing to a slight... We're going to take a little break. And we'll be back second half with Beth Snyder, and we're going to continue on about Doomsday prepping and turn on your love light. Anything Neil Diamond sings about pretty much will make you good.
where things almost make sense, and most everything is interesting and mildly unique. It's a place that feels somewhat familiar and has the suspicious comfort of a loving semi-omnipresence. You are on the outskirts of Loutopia. Sit back and relax, or tense up and march around. Please welcome your host of Loutopia, Lou Angel Wolf.
Here I am, right there. It's like you said I'd be. Here I am, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Loutopia podcast. I'm Lou Angel Wolf on the air with Michael Merberg, Chris Gorgeous. How you doing, fellas?
Good to be back, Mr.
Had a hell of a first half there.
Yeah, really.
Chris almost got in his own version of bum fights. And
what happens in the Walmart parking lot stays in Walmart. The first rule of bum fights.
No, I'm not going to get out of my car. That's why on my post I put hashtag this ain't junior high, bro. I'm not getting out. You're not going to have your world star hip hop moment. It ain't going to happen.
And Michael is being visited by people from other places. And
it's good to have friends from other places.
Yeah, and and the most beautiful thing about the CE5, the Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, the human-initiated contact, is you pray them into your presence, and they receive it. You ask, and they commune with you.
Yeah, and you've been to a couple of the CE5s
sure.
out at the ranch, so
it's amazing. And you know what else is amazing? Our co-host for the second half, and I know a secret about Injun Joe. It's our pal Beth Snyder. Welcome, Beth Snyder. And it usually doesn't happen to me. But tomorrow is Beth's birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yay.
Yeah, you guys. And you know what? I think I'm actually going to get to stop and give you a hug in person tomorrow.
Oh, how lovely. That'll be delightful. Yes,
Yeah.
I think I'll be at the store majority of the day tomorrow, so that'll be great.
Well, good. I will communicate via them fancy texters we got on our phones now. Telegraph.
I'm white knuckling it in my 40s here, so I'm holding on for one more year. 49. I can't believe it. It went by so fast.
Yeah.
Life is like a roll of toilet paper.
It sure is.
The further you get, the closer you get to the end, the faster the rotations go.
Sure. I can see the paper tube.
I use a blow dryer.
Well, at least you can.
A blow dryer better than a hand dryer.
Yeah.
What was that study they came out with the hand dryers?
Oh, yeah, fecal matter everywhere.
Yeah, Beth, go into it. That's your gig.
Oh, yeah, it was a fecal week on Facebook. There was that, and then the makeup that they got out there in L.A. had it in it. I was like, my goodness.
Jeez.
There's shit everywhere.
And that pecan pie from The Help. All that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see that movie, The Help?
No.
The Help?
No.
So good.
It was really a great movie. And this cool black maid who was the hero of the whole thing, she made her special pecan pie every year, and they just raved about it. And the secret ingredient was she took a shit in it before she baked it.
Oh, man.
And they would, and year after year.
Wonder what she was eating.
But
Sweet potatoes.
Is there corn in pecan pie? But anyway.
Maybe she was diabetic. And
oh, my God.
Sweet anyway.
Can you imagine finding out you've been eating somebody else's dung for years?
Beats eating their mother.
Oh, my God. But anyway, so ladies and gentlemen, the show this week, the thread running through it, I guess, is about doomsday prepping. We started with it last week. Now,
well, bring toilet paper. We know that. We've got that covered.
Yeah. And your mother-in-law.
Just And your mother-in-law. You know, mother-in-law jokes. They've gone out of style, but they're permanently funny. You know.
That's because no one stays married long enough to actually.
That's exactly what it is. Which one are you talking about? Which mother-in-law?
My ex-mother-in-law. It's not as funny.
Yeah, my ex-mother-in-law. Well, that certainly disqualifies you from interest.
And she ran away with my wife. Jesus Christ.
Funny, you never know. But well, Beth, like we were talking about, the thing that we noticed right now is Mercury in retrograde or some kind of crazy cosmic bullshit happening right now, because everybody's kind of feeling a strange vibe. You know, I'm getting some. You know, even as mellow as I am, I'm having acerbic people rub up against me.
Well, better in retrograde than Mars and Uranus.
Yeah, Mars is in Uranus, and that's probably what's causing it all.
We're all getting fucked.
Mick Mars from Motley Crue. But anyway, that poor guy.
Yeah.
But anyway, he's got that disease where you like turn into a rock or something. Like everything just gets stiff and you just can't. I don't know exactly what it's called.
Rock star disease.
Oh gosh,
rock star. It probably is. But anyway, but Beth, you know, when the world gets like that, you know, there's got to be a new way to look at that. There's got to be a way to rise above the negative vibrations that are bouncing off of you, and you know. But what happens too? I mean, even the most adjusted of us, we still get a little taken back by certain energies. Poor Chris today. He was just going to the store on a routine ammunition run, and
just going for some cheap ammo, you know, like any other Thursday.
And then he gets accosted by Tiger Bobby, the bum fight champion of Pinellas County.
Could have been a champion, a contender.
He's in the railroad.
What'd you do to that man, Chris, to upset him so?
I drove around him so as to not hit him with my car, and that upset him.
Yeah, screwed
well,
up.
Maybe he was wanting you to hit him.
But he drove around him cocky.
Yeah, I guess in my Grand Marquis with my ammo, I was all cocky and shit. Yeah, I don't know. He was just upset. He got it. Yeah. Then he called me a bunch of one slur in particular, and I was like, okay, dude.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, it's upsetting, right? Because it's not, you know, it's definitely not something you anticipated and not something that you provoked. So you feel very violated. It's frightening.
Much the words you say, it's the tone you say them in.
Well, then the other guy jumped in too, and I'm sure he didn't even know half of it. And that's like, you know what? I don't have the opportunity to sit here and explain it to you.
The welterweight
bum.
bum.
The guy's got a phone in my face, and now I got to explain it to you too, guy who just walked by. Like, please, just go about your business, please. It's not like we're standing.
He took a picture of your license plate, right?
Yeah, and then he came around
and showed it to you.
No. He took a picture of my license plate, and then he walked over to my window and started filming him with the camera about 6 inches from my face.
Well,
and I was like, and I smacked.
Did you ever stop to think he's maybe just part of a really shitty reality show?
Worst.
You've been punked.
People of Walmart strike back.
Yeah.
That's right.
Go into the Walmart. Don't get people leaving Walmart. How about that?
They won't let us film indoors no more.
Yeah. Am I officially a Walmart person if I'm leaving the parking lot? I could be there for a myriad of different reasons. It doesn't have to be that I'm at Walmart.
Dude, I got one word for you.
Yeah?
Target.
I go to Target.
Okay. Then go there all the time.
They don't sell bullets at Target.
Well, why don't you go to a bullet store?
Because they're expensive as hell at the bullet. What part of cheap ammo did you not understand?
The part that I don't understand is
It's
you got
Walmart.
something going off in front of you about 6 inches in front of your face, and you want the cheapest damn bullet you can get.
No, I don't want to pay. Look, it's like going and buying shoes at a boutique or buying them at, Payless. You still get decent shoes at Payless, but they're not boutique shoes, yeah? Go to a gun store.
I don't know.
Everything,
I've
right,
had
you know.
pretty lousy blisters, so I've had to get over.
Yeah. You don't want to spend high money for wad cutters.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to the range with them.
Wad cutters?
I mean, that's basically you're shooting them off to shoot at the range. It's not like you're, doing competition shooting. Then you'd buy expensive ammunition.
When I heard
Why
that,
don't you just save even more money and just make like a bang noise every time?
Make a bang noise?
Yeah, just go bang, 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 bang.
That sounds like so much fun, going bang, bang, bang at 52 years old.
Well,
at the
yeah,
range.
what's the difference?
That's my point. There's a huge difference.
hey, do you remember
okay.
the last scene of Slaughterhouse 5? Billy Pilgrim is they're giving him a testimonial, and he's out in the audience, and he's getting ready to receive an award, and then one of the guys he slighted like 25 years ago is upstairs in the balcony, and he's a guy before he kills him. He says, "Remember Kilroy," and then he shoots him dead. This guy's been forgotten about for 25 years.
Oh my God!
He carries his grudge all the way to the death of Billy
Are you
Pilgrim.
saying Walmart guy's going to remember you 25 years from now?
He's got your license number,
Jesus.
dude.
Dude.
Probably not.
Well, you never know. You never know. He could get a fixation on you for some reason.
You know what? I think that guy's like a pinball. That's what I think.
Yeah, probably.
And he's probably going to lose that
But I
phone.
think, yeah. I mean, he's obviously there's deeper things happening with him. But it does bring up an interesting thing is that people have cameras now, and they can shoot images of you, or they can shoot.
Facebook.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I liked that guy Tom on MySpace when I initially met Tom on MySpace.
He wasn't your real
You think
friend.
they're still using the data from MySpace?
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I think MySpace.
Probably.
I think my MySpace profile's still open. I can't access it because I forgot the password, but it's still there. It's crazy.
Oh, is there still a MySpace?
Oh, yeah.
It's still open?
Oh yeah.
yeah. It kind of changed.
gosh.
It changed formats. It turned into a band promotion.
Well, that's how it started. They went back.
Oh, did they?
It started as a music
Oh.
platform for musicians, and then Lou's and the Chris's and my mom and everybody jumped on.
I had so much fun on MySpace, man. I had all kinds of great music on there, and it was so funny. You could pick your top 20 friends, and I actually would have friends go, "How come I'm not in your top 20?" And I said, well, "I'll rotate you in there, buddy. Hang on,
I'll rotate you in.
Ed, up to number 18 this week. We're
Yeah.
gonna.
And number 2 with a bullet.
I always had Tom in my top friends. That pissed off somebody, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I left him up there. I'm like, Tom's cool with me.
he's not really your friend.
No, that's okay.
Not really.
I did it for prestige. I'm like, I know Tom.
Sure you do. And
Tom's getting ready for Doomsday right now. You know who else is getting ready for
Tom's
Doomsday?
in a
Billy
bunker.
Mitchell. He's getting ready for
Billy
Doomsday.
Mitchell?
Do you hear about that? Billy
Who's that?
Mitchell. Billy Mitchell, if you've not heard, is the guy that was featured in King of Kong, Fistful of Quarters, is a documentary about Donkey Kong, and he was the first guy to does like a 1,000,000-point score. Turns out he was cheating the whole time, and and they stripped him of all his awards. I guess he's all of his records, his Guinness records, stripped him all of it. I hear he's on suicide watch. He's not doing too well.
Branded.
Yeah,
gosh,
it's a huge story. I met
his
him.
whole self-worth was tied to his Donkey Kong score.
It was a huge deal for him in the 80s. He was a teenager in the 80s, and it was a huge deal. He's marketed himself as like the world's best gamer and all. Now it's all like
my gosh,
it's a big deal.
Boy,
it was in Variety. It was on NPR, on Variety. I mean, it made national and international news. Insane.
Yeah, you know what his diet is for the next several years of his life?
Twinkies?
Crow. He's going to eat crow. Wow.
I wonder if he's got stuff stashed away for the end times. Do you have anything, Beth? Do you have anything stashed away for end times?
No, not a single thing. I'm all good with it. Whatever's going to happen, I'll write it out in the moment.
Yeah.
But what about eating?
No, I'm not. I mean, but it's interesting because, especially just talking about data collection, and just come back to that for a moment, but there is that possibility that at some point, a rogue faction takes over, and they can use that. They could use that data against us to very easily. I mean, we've already seen it happen with the McCarthy era. Living, and these are the people that are dying, or these are the people that are going to be, taken away. So I think it just feels really out of hand at this point.
Well, what did you think
that it would be difficult to even try to dial back what they have on us?
What did you think was going on with they take this personality test or take this, see if you're an empath, or see all that stuff was data mining done by the CIA. They're already there and they've already done it. They've already got dossiers on on millions and millions of people.
Yeah, and
a lot of people to hold data on, but but to what end? And even with all that data, they still they do thwart the occasional terroristic attack, but I think there's still a lot that are slipping through. I mean,
the thing that the whole Homeland Security and all that stuff. This is my taking. I don't think there's as many terrorist subplots going on in the world as you think they are, or that we need an entire division of our government.
Well, we ought to know because we're funding them.
Well, yeah.
God.
Don't you think that's just a jobs program anyway, that whole TSA nonsense? I mean, come on. I mean, it's the jobs program.
They're Lebowski little achievers is what they are.
It keeps the military-industrial complex churning out money and guns.
Well, damn it, Michael, those bombs get stale. You can't have stale bombs.
Well, you got to use
them
somewhere,
fresh
right?
bombs,
right? You got to
nice new missiles, smart missiles,
like new missiles.
You got to regenerate that degrading plutonium. Got to use it in 30,000 years, or it's no good anymore.
It's a year-end closeout. We're overstocked.
We wonder why we get refugees now. We've been using radioactive rounds where they live. It's like, yeah, come on back and farm. You don't want kids with 3 eyes. Maybe without legs.
And you know what though?
And as much as we're experiencing it here, what's happening in China is.
Sucked into a lower rating by the government as to whether or not they're going to be, contrary to the communist regime or not. And that's exactly what we're establishing here. And whether it's fascist or communist is irrelevant. It's the same kind of totalitarian big brother regime. and they're trying to do it to us. They're trying to subsume us under this awful society that's looming right in front of us.
Sure. Yeah, if you want to see a great example of that, the series Black Mirror that's on Netflix, which is I think it's a British series. Yeah, they had an episode where that's what it was. Everybody had their phones, and whenever they interacted with somebody, they rated them, and it literally affected your credit score, whether you could rent a car, whether you were admitted into certain places. Like this girl was on her way to a wedding, and she was high rated, and she had a series of unfortunate incidents on the way to the wedding, and reacted rudely to people, and her rating went down. By the time that she got to the wedding, nobody would talk to her because she was not high enough of a rating to be in their social circle. It was insane.
I believe it.
It was insane. But
that's happening. Yeah, that's what China's already establishing as kind of a rating system for their citizens, which is just stunning to consider that the technology is that advanced. I mean, you're talking about how many people in China?
How many people are in China? 9 million? 9 billion?
Yeah, no, over. I think it's 1.3 billion.
1.3 billion.
It's more people than have been.
I mean, that's a
heck
of a database.
Well, but a lot of those people are in rural areas. Are they even in the system at that? You know, like farmers and all these villages.
Not much
stuff.
rural
I don't know.
left. They're brilliant.
Probably not.
They're making.
But I guess
cities.
if you opt in, right? If you pick up one of these devices and you opt in, then it's game over.
Yeah. Well, Tom Rhodes has traveled through China extensively, and he says there are times, like when he's going from gigs, he has to take a bus. He goes, there are literally times in China when you drive through a dirt road, mud road, for 2 hours past slums. Just people living in rag huts, cardboard boxes, shanties, anything. Okay, you'll drive through that for 2 solid hours before there's any kind of break in the action.
Yeah, like California now.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
or Detroit.
Well, yeah, well they don't stay
Well, the wealth gap is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And
it's really interesting. I'm extraordinarily blessed for my life. I like my job, and I'm making money, and I'm doing okay. Okay.
Got a pretty spiffy condo there, brother.
Yeah, I live very comfortably. I eat
cul-de-sac living.
I eat anytime I want. I live in a climate controlled environment. I sleep in a $3,000 bed. I mean, I've got a nice life. And
got a digital record player?
Oh, I do.
CD and a cigarette lighter in my car.
And you got 3 of your top 20 friends with you right now.
I know.
I know I'd be in the top 20 if you were still on MySpace.
Baby, yeah. You'd never leave. You'd be permanente. But but I look around, and but I also know, like I saw a homeless guy the other day in St. Pete. And
what?
Yeah, I know.
That's unheard of.
And dude, I'm telling you, we locked eyes, and that guy was a real guy. He was one of us. And I just looked at him, and I had a couple bucks sitting in my console, so I just reached out, and he wasn't even looking for it. I just held it out, and he walked over and took it and just gave me a little, like a cool guy nod, Well,
I've had situations where I've been walking down downtown Tampa, and I take a 20 out of my wallet to give to some homeless guy, and they take a look at me and they say, "No, man, I need you need this more than I do." A bum refusing to take money from a lawyer. Oh my God, I am going to hell.
Yeah, he gives you a sandwich.
You got ketchup on your tie or something?
I know. He's like, "Here's a bologna sandwich. You can have it." Man.
Well, Merbs takes Casual Friday a little further.
I dressed to come here tonight,
and but I saw that guy, and like I said, I knew he was one. I knew if I sat and talked to him, it would be a great conversation. I just knew it. But, all that might have happened to that cat is he might have just been in the wrong place, the wrong time, a couple times in his life, and it just set him so far back that he couldn't pull back out.
Right.
And,
it doesn't take much. It really just doesn't take much.
Yeah. And, I do a joke in my act about, I don't make fun of people that live in mobile homes, because to a guy living in a car, that mobile home's a lot better. The guy's like, look at that, man. He can stand up in there. If you're living in your car, you can't stand up unless you got a sunroof. And I don't make fun of people living in their cars, because to a guy living in a box, that car is a lot better, man. He's like, look at that dude. He's got a mobile home. Yeah. Now, if you don't have a box, you got to get your shit together, bro. we're willing to help, give you a sandwich, but anybody can get a box. Go to Best Buy on Sunday afternoon, pick yourself out a cute little chalet, Chateau de Magnavox. And as your family grows, tape on an addition later.
Easy.
You
got to get tape, of course. You got to find tape, of course.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but
LG for the little guys.
But really, though, I mean, for a lot of people, 4, 5, 6 good shark bumps, that's where it would put you. Mm-hmm. I mean,
I've almost been there, dude. I got down to the car situation. I was down to the car.
Yeah.
Where I had no place, and I
spent many a night.
Yeah, I was ironing my shirt on the back of the car with a car battery operated iron. Getting ready to work. I'm like, what the hell?
Where was this? Here?
Connecticut.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. That was
bad.
For
sure. And I think with the healthcare crisis that we have, it's even more prominent. I mean, if you have a serious health condition and you don't have insurance, or you spit out.
Yeah, well, that's
in their most vulnerable times. And I have a friend of mine, and he has cancer right now, and he went to his doctor the other day. I'll just give you an example, and he's getting chemotherapy, and he said to the doctor, my mouth is really sore inside and tore up, and the doctor wrote him a prescription for some mouthwash. And he went to get it filled, and the insurance company said, no, we won't pay for that. And the pharmacist says, well, this is $600 if you want to buy it. And he's like, forget it. I'll just deal with the sores in my mouth. Huh. And he was talking to another cancer patient, and she said to him, just go to Publix and buy biotin. It's exactly the same stuff. And he looked it up online, and it's exactly the same ingredients.
Wow.
So, for $5, it's exactly the same stuff. So it's absolutely criminal that really people in their most vulnerable moments are being taken advantage of like this.
That's a special kind of ugliness that not a lot of people have. I mean, so many of us hit our compassion level a lot earlier than that. But you know what? That pharmacist, for him not saying, hey, dude, go over and get some biotin. It's the same stuff. For him not to say that, I don't know whether he's under surveillance or whatever, but a guy up against it and he needs something, and you got a $600 one and there's a $5 one down the aisle.
Right, and the doctor, and in the doctor himself, and another example, he's constipated from the chemotherapy, and the doctor says, we'll just drink more water. Your insurance won't cover anything else. And the lady in the waiting room says, take this homeopathic thing. It works really great.
Yeah.
And he takes it and he's fine. Oh. So, I'm flabbergasted. We went through it with Nancy's dad as well, just hundreds of thousands of dollars in medical bills, which is just adding.
And that's, I was in the, many of my day jobs. I actually sold cremation services for the Neptune Society.
Yeah, I did that too.
Did you really?
Yeah, ship ahoy.
Yeah.
Well, and the reason I liked the job, for one, for the people that had the wherewithal to go, hey, I'm going to die soon, and I need something to happen to my carcass.
I've never been on a cruise.
Anyway.
Yeah, I can finally fit in the overhead compartment. Take me everywhere.
How much for the stateroom? Closet.
Actually, it was good. It was a good job, and I did real well at it, or pretty good at it, I say. But what happened after about 8-9 months of working it, I just got tired of talking about death all the time. It was just it was too present, you know. But I also said these people are doing a good thing for $16.95. They'll come pick your carcass up, cremate it, put it in a box, and give it back to your family. You know.
Yeah,
you know.
I did. Thank you, Beth, because I was thinking all that time he did that, and he still refers to it as a carcass. What the hell?
No wonder. No wonder you did pretty well. You needed a little help in the language pattern.
Have we got a deal for you and your father's carcass?
Your carcass. What are you going to do with your carcass when you croak? You going to the graveyard?
Carcass is for a turkey at the end of Thanksgiving.
What else are you gonna
Not
call
for
it,
a
though?
loved one, Lou.
Give us a better word. Give us a better word.
Body.
Cadaver.
Yeah.
Past
Your
person.
Cadaver
vessel,
doesn't
your
sound
human
much-
vessel.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. I like that one. Human vessel.
Mud bag.
Your flesh and blood.
Bag of bones and meat.
Meat bag.
Mud bag. Did you say mud bag?
Yeah, he said mud bag. I don't even know what that means.
Well, we are. We're a slogging bag of mud.
It's meat. Meat bag.
You take the ashes, you add water, and stir. What the hell? Mud bag.
Soylent Green is people. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Loutopia podcast. You're listening on the IRN Broadcast Network, I hope. Or you might be on YouTube. The show's also going to show up on Podomatic, not to mention the mothership, Loutopia.com. And that's where you can also find the Pacifist Riot. And, you know, you might say we have a podcast here and we're a little self-indulgent. And we are. We talk about what we want to talk about, and hopefully it's entertaining to you. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot of content out there. We've done well over 120, 130 of these. Wouldn't you say, Chris? At least. Yeah. And there literally is hours and hours, and each of us have a kind soul and a clean heart to share with all of you. Yeah, we're trying to be funny. Yeah, we're trying to be witty. Yeah, we're trying to impart our own little pieces of wisdom. But the other thing, too, that a lot of people find is what makes you more cranky when the vibrations get a little more harried is that you haven't been expressing yourself artistically. If you're not, trending on your creativity, that stores up inside you, and that equals frustration. And it was really cool the other day, excuse me about being self-indulgent, I found a piece of poetry that I wrote a couple of years ago, and we can go ahead and close out on this if you want. Yeah, actually, we'll come around and kiss goodbye at the end of it. And it really is kind of the poem, the story, the prose, however you want to put it, is kind of. I wrote this in 2008, I believe, and 2008, and it's the same. It's the same. It was a trending vibration that I noticed that time, and here I'm going to share it with you again. The poem's called Number 7 All the Way. Poor, homely, bug-eyed waitress, like a pink-faced pug with baby blue hairnets. She's built like a concrete block with stick legs. Her dry, incomplete attitude greets all comers. She begrudgingly toils every task. This is a miserable day for her. She doles out the obligatory thank yous like jail grits. Flop, and the spoon hits your plate. Kadink. A dim thank you, flat and frosted with insincerity, and the human ear can hardly hear it. She moves about the shiny diner, moving her body in a stagnant minimum wage wobble. She hardly swings her arms when she walks, like R2-D2 in a bacon-stained apron. She's loud in the kitchen, chewing purple gum and barking out food orders and promises of short returns. Her voice is like a whiny owl, like a failing power steering pump. Her drive belt needs to be tightened or replaced. She's just plowing through another rural afternoon. Her name, Crystal, in dino tape on a generic placard, rests on her breast. She wishes she had a big old fancy name tag. She used to think it was funny when she worked at Crystal Burgers. Her name was Crystal, and Crystal was on the name tag too. So it said Crystal, Crystal. Walter, the cook, used to call her Crystal back then. I feel her sadness as she seems so empty and alone. She smells of smoke and sweat and ketchup. Maybe all this sad country jukebox music has finally soaked into her pores and left a tragic tear in her personal fabric. She stomps through another shift at this cafe. Crystal eyes the clock and her shift is nearly over. She wipes down the booths with a wet rag that neither improves nor cleans the surfaces. Is there anything I can do to cheer her up? I whisper a short prayer. Heavenly Father, warm her soul as I gather my impedimenta. I rise to pay my bill and collect my indifferent thank you, and a small group of people get out of 2 cars outside. The doors thud in the background, and the diner door tinkles open. 14 legs standing and bending, waiting to be seated. From between the denim tree jungle emerges a little child, a young girl about 4 summers old, sporting My Little Pony overalls. She begins a jog down the tiled aisle. Nana, Nana, she bubbles, her chubby arms wide open, and her buggy little eyes are looking for Nana. Crystal comes to life as is struck by static lightning. Movement melts her whole body. She bends her thick waist and scoops up the happy little one. She smiles from deep within, her whole face glowing with joy. A transformation, like the Grinch adoring Cindy Lou Who for the first time. Grandbaby kisses all over her cheeks. And where did that stale waitress go? There is now a bubbling Nana standing in her moist sneakers. As an old-school mechanic, I noted, Crystal was just running low on love.
It's great.
Thank you. Excuse me.
Beautiful.
She needed some Lovedrine.
Yeah.
She needs somebody to care for her carcass.
And for $16.95.
I ran out of voice about the three-quarter point.
Just a beautiful reminder that we are all beautiful, eternal.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Loutopia podcast. I'm Lou Angel Wolf saying goodnight for this week. Michael Merberg, good to have you on, man.
Good to be here. Good to see you.
Boy, the ETs are really reached out, man.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun.
I'll be there next month, I promise.
Okay, good.
Chris Gorgeous, you
Yes.
You take it easy on your ammunition runs, will you?
I'll be fine.
Park around back.
I'm going to be in Ocala at the Bonkers on Saturday night, and I'll be in Fort Myers. Check my website. It's for some place in Fort Myers.
And Beth.
Friday.
Thank you. Go see Chris, please. He's funny. He's worth the trip. And Beth, happy birthday, honey. And
thank you.
Yes, happy birthday.
And I will get to see
Thank you.
I'll get to see you tomorrow, if only for just a hug session. But also for all the people on the air, I want to sing my special birthday song just for Beth. You ready?
Uh-oh. I'm ready.
This is your birthday song. It isn't very long.
Oh, my God. I'm so touched.
I'd be pissed. I'd be like, what a jip. Where's the rest of the song?
That's one of those gifts that it's the thought that counts. Well, Beth, I love you, honey. I'll see you tomorrow sometimes. Happy birthday. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to the Loutopia podcast. We're here most Tuesday evenings live at 6:30, and you can catch up on the show, Loutopia.com, YouTube, Podomatic. Please listen and subscribe and
IRN,
like it.
IRN Broadcast Network.
And IRN, my buddies over there. So please like, subscribe, leave a comment. Love you.